So hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Creatrix. Welcome to Unacademy. So in these sessions, we are going to start the communication system and you are going to study the communication system like never before. So before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Vishal Soni and I have cleared ESC examination 2 times, both times in double digit rank. And I have also served as a Group A Gazette officer in Indian Railways and in Indian Telecommunication Services. And I have also cleared a lot of public sector examinations. So right now I'm teaching on Unacademy and I really feel proud to be the part of the Unacademy team, because Unacademy is the revolution in the field of free education and in the field of affordable education, and we as a team are really looking forward for every student to just come onto the Unacademy platform. You can attend the special classes, you can come onto this YouTube channel and you can stay connected with us so that you can understand the quality education and you can understand the efforts that we are putting in, so that every student of this country, whether he stays in a village or he stays in a town, should get the access of the content, that too in a very affordable prices, and he can also or she can also clear the examination with the best possible ranks. So right now I'm teaching on Unacademy with more than 15 million watch minutes in the overall duration and 2 million watch minutes in the last 30 days. So I am right now the top educator in Unacademy across all the branches, having rank 4 right now. And you can also follow me on Unacademy on this particular link. So you can go and follow me on Unacademy. Apart from that, my advice to every student is that how should you crack the examination and what are the components to cracking the examination. So the first question that comes to the mind, that can anyone prepare from the YouTube? Yes, you can prepare from the YouTube, but you should develop or cultivate some habits in yourself. For example, you should be very much disciplined. You should arrange the extra resources. For example, the PDFs you have to arrange, the test series you have to arrange by yourself, and most importantly, that self-discipline you should be containing in yourself, so that you can be very corrective manner and you can approach the examination in the best possible manner. So all these things you have to arrange yourself. The sense of competitiveness you have to cultivate in yourself, because the audience on the YouTube are not that much of competitive in nature, or maybe you cannot feel the competition which is present right now. So all these things are the part of the journey if you want to prepare through the YouTube, or maybe if you want to prepare through the free resources. Apart from that, if you want that you should get complete content, then this is the YouTube channel. On this YouTube channel itself, all the free content are available. You just have to go to the playlist. All the subjects are completed there. You just have to go and watch all the lectures one by one. Definitely will be getting benefited. But the extra things that I have told you, that the self-discipline and the sense of competitiveness and a lot of things you have to arrange by yourself. If you are comfortable in that, then you can do that. Apart from that, you should also have Unacademy learning app, so that the special classes you can attend. A lot of educators in this country are actually providing the special classes, that too absolutely free of cost, so that you can get the quality content in the best possible manner. Apart from that, there is also another component for you, which is Unacademy Plus. So on Unacademy Plus, what is your job? You just have to study. If you join this Unacademy Plus, you do not have to worry about the crash courses, weekly test, doubt solving sessions, the language barrier, rank improvement batches, live classes. So all these things will be taken care by the Unacademy. You just have to take the Unacademy Plus subscription and you have to come on to the Unacademy. You will be daily getting the live classes. You will be getting the crash courses. When you will be getting the crash courses? When the syllabus are completed. You will be getting the weekly test in the form of quizzes. Every fourth class is the doubt solving session, which is the major you can say the component or the major impact will be creating on your studies will be this doubt solving group. Because until and unless your doubts are not being cleared, until and unless you are not able to clear your doubts, you will never get the confidence in the subject. So once you come on to this Unacademy Plus, every fourth class is doubt solving session. Apart from that, various other doubt solving sessions are going on. So ultimately you will be getting your doubts cleared and you will gain confidence in the subject. The language barrier will not be an issue, because the batches will be running both Hindi and in English, and rank improvement batches will also be there. So all these things are the component of this Plus subscription. Once you come on to this Unacademy Plus, you do not have to be worried about your self-discipline, your competitiveness nature. Everything will be present on Unacademy, because a lot of other students will be there. Since the classes will be live, you can also watch it recorded later on. So the discipline automatically comes, because you get the idea that you will be having the daily live classes. Apart from that, there is also one iconic subscription. In this iconic subscription, the game changer is this personal coach. So this subscription is for them who thinks that their basics are weak, or those who are talented but they needs a continuous push. So this personal coach will be guiding you throughout your study. He will be giving you the study planners. You will be getting the study booster sessions. Once you will get the test, you will be getting the analytics. Analytics plays a major role in improving yourself. We as a teacher also get our analytics so that we can improve on the daily basis. So once you start getting the analytics, you will be also improving massively on the daily basis. Apart from that, there will also be the guidance for the mains once you clear the prelims, and there will also.
Hello friends. In the last lecture we studied about the basics of the quantization. In this class we will study about the characterization of a general quantizer. So first of all, let L be the total number of amplitude levels used in a quantizer. So it is the total number of levels that should be used in the quantizer. We have already defined that a quantizer is defined with respect to its thresholds or with respect to its amplitude levels. Now let us consider the discrete amplitudes which is M1, M2, Mi, Mi plus 1, Ml, Ml plus 1 are called as either decision thresholds, or decision levels. So these are the decision thresholds or the decision levels. Based upon that, a quantizer performs or it quantizes the input range. Now we already know that the decision thresholds divides the dynamic range of the quantizer into L different regions. So let me draw a general diagram of a quantizer. Suppose we have a quantizer so it will have some input and it will generate the quantized output. Now the quantizer is always defined with respect to its decision thresholds. So here I am defining the decision thresholds as M1, M2, Mi, Mi plus 1, Ml, Ml plus 1. These are the L decision thresholds. Now we can also define the dynamic range of the quantizer. So if we will define the dynamic range of the quantizer is from M1 to Ml plus 1, which means the quantizer can quantize the values which is starting from M1 to Ml plus 1. Now let me draw a basic prototype of a quantizer. So this is the basic prototype of a quantizer. This is M1 and this is Ml plus 1. So this is representing the dynamic range of the quantizer. So quantizer can accept values from M1 to ML plus 1. If input values are exceeding out of this range, then it will clip the values which are beyond M1 and ML plus 1. So basically, first of all, what I did, I covered the dynamic range from M1 to ML plus 1. Now the decision thresholds, which was M1, M2, M3, in between some MI plus 1, and here ML. These decision thresholds will divide the dynamic range of the quantizer into L different levels or L different regions. So let me denote these regions. You can see this region from M1 to M2. So I'm calling this region as R1. You can again see this region from M2 to M3. You can call it as R2. This region can be considered as Ri. And finally, this region I can call it as L. So this decision threshold has divided the complete dynamic range of the quantizer into L different levels, and each region I am denoting it as R1, R2 and up to RL. Now, if I have to calculate the length of each region, so I can call the length of this region as delta 1. You can also call this region's length as delta 2. You can call the length of this region as delta I, and you can call the length of this region is as delta L. So I have also denoted the length of each region. Now what quantizer will do, it will scan the values which is present from M1 to M2, and it will map the range of value from M1 to M2 on a single point. Generally this point is at midpoint, but as we are studying the general quantizer, so I'm saying that it can map any value from M1 to M2 on a single value. Generally this value is midpoint. R1. Similarly, whenever the value comes between M2 to M3, all the values which are present between M2 to M3 are mapped onto a single value, and generally this point is a midpoint. Similarly, the values which are present from Mi to Mi plus 1 is mapped onto midpoint, and which is present ML to ML plus 1 is mapped onto midpoint. So from here you can say that the output of the quantizer has L discrete values because the region from M1 to M2 is mapped onto single range. Similarly, M1, M2 to M3 is mapped onto single value. Mi to mi plus 1 is mapped onto single value, or you can say that the output of the quantizer is producing L discrete output values. So sometimes this type of quantizer is also known as L level quantizer, which means it is producing L discrete levels at its output. So it is also called as L level quantizer. Now let us try to categorize the given quantizer. So I can define my quantizer into two different categories. First one is uniform quantizer, and second one is non-uniform quantizer. So first of all, let us understand what is uniform quantizer. So in case of uniform quantizer, suppose this is your quantizer, this is the quantizer. Quantizer is always defined with respect to its decision thresholds. So let me consider the decision thresholds as M1, M2, Mi plus 1, comma ML plus 1. So this is the threshold levels of the quantizer, and I am considering that the dynamic range of this quantizer is again from M1 to ML plus 1, which means it will allow the input signal to be quantized from M1 to ML plus 1, or it will quantize the input signal which is lying from the range starting from M1 to ML plus 1. Now in case of uniform quantizer, let me draw the basic prototype of quantizer. Now this value is, let me call this value as M1 and the topmost value as ML plus 1. So I will divide this complete dynamic range by these discrete amplitudes or discrete threshold levels. So somewhere in between we will have MI plus 1, and finally here we will have this ML. We know that these discrete amplitudes divides the complete dynamic range into different regions. So these regions becomes R1, R2, let me call this region as Ri and this region as Rl. So this complete region is called as R1, we will call this region as R2, this region as R3, this region as Ri, and this region as Rl. Now in case of uniform quantization, the length of each region should be same, which means the length of this region will be delta, length of this will also be delta, this will also become delta, this will be delta, and this will be delta. So in case of uniform quantization, the width of the each region becomes equal, and this width can be called as delta. Now it will again pick up the values from M1 to M2 and it will map into a single point. Similarly this range, and all these ranges will be mapped onto a single discrete points, and this will come out to be L quantized output, or we can call it as L level quantizer. So in case of uniform quantization, the width of the region which is R1, which is the region from M1 to M2, R2, which is the region from M2 to M3, Ri, which is the region from Mi to Mi plus 1, and finally Rl, which is the region from ML to ML plus 1. The width of all these regions has to be same, and that width is known as delta. Now this delta we can also define it as each region's width, or we can also call it as spacing between adjacent thresholds, and more popularly it is known as step size or quantum size. So more popularly it is known as step size or quantum size, and we can define it as delta. For uniform quantizer you can also calculate the delta from here, that if I have to calculate delta, I can write this as ML plus 1 minus M1 upon L. So this will give you the step size or the quantum size. So let me repeat once again that in case of uniform quantization, the width of each region remains the same, and the width is known as step size, and you can also calculate the value of step size in case of uniform quantization. So now let us discuss the case of non-uniform quantization. So in case of non-uniform quantization, again let me consider my quantizer. This is the quantizer. It will have a range of inputs and it will generate some discrete outputs. A quantizer is always defined with respect to its threshold levels. So I am considering the threshold levels as M1, M2, Mi plus 1, ML plus 1. This threshold level will divide the dynamic range at the input of the quantizer into different regions, and each region as a whole will be mapped to a discrete value. So here also I am considering that the dynamic range is from M1 to ML plus 1. So this is the dynamic range of the quantizer. It means this quantizer can quantize the values which are lying between from M1 to ML plus 1. So let me again draw the basic prototype of a quantizer. So to draw this, we will again use this vertical diagram. So I can call this value as M1 again, this value as ML plus 1. Now the decision threshold will divide the dynamic range into different regions. So this will be the regions. I can call this region as R1, this particular region as R2, this particular region as Ri, and finally this region as R. Now in case of non-uniform quantization, let me call the width of each region as delta 1, delta 2, delta I, and delta L. In case of non-uniform quantization, the width of each region should not be the same, which means the region R1, which is defined as the region between M1 to M2, and suppose it has width delta 1. Similarly, region R2, which covers the range from M2 to M3 and its step size is delta 2. Similarly, the range Ri, which is defining the range from Mi to Mi plus 1 and it has delta I. And finally, RL, which has ML to ML plus 1 and it has width delta L. So all these deltas should not be simultaneously same. It might happen that out of this L deltas, few delta will be same and few will be different, but width of each region should not be same, which also corresponds to the fact that all step sizes should not be same. That is why the name comes out as non-uniform quantization. So in case of uniform quantization, the delta remains constant, and in case of non-uniform quantization, the step size varies. So this is very important discussion we did about the quantization, and we discussed about a general quantizer. That general quantizer has some L levels, and L threshold levels are from M1 to ML plus 1, and this threshold level divides the dynamic range of the quantizer into L different levels, and each different region is mapped onto a single discrete value, and overall we get L quantized output values, or we can call a general quantizer as L level quantizer. Now let us understand the quantization of a random variable which is obtained by stationary random process. So let me draw a basic prototype. Suppose we have a stationary random process which is x of t. So what I want to do, I first of all want to sample this stationary random process. So I will pass it through a sampler. After that, I want to assign this output to a quantizer. So this is the quantizer. We know that quantizer is always defined with respect to its thresholds. So let me consider the thresholds m1, m2, mi plus 1, ml, ml plus 1. So these are the threshold levels. Now we know that whenever a random process is sampled, suppose we have a random process x of t, so this will be some collection of waveforms. So suppose we have these two waveforms, and this waveform will be something like this. We have another waveform which varies something like this. So let me call this as x of zeta 1 comma t and x of zeta 2 comma t. So it is the collection of these two waveforms. Now if I will sample this, so suppose after sampling at any instant, we sampled this random process at t equal to t1, or we observed it at t equal to t1. So obviously we will get a random variable which is x of zeta comma t1. So this is the random variable, and let me call this value as x, and this will be the value of x of zeta 1 comma t1, or let me call as small x1, or the values taken by this random variable x. Similarly, this value will become x of zeta 2 comma t1 or x2, or the values taken by the random variable x. So whenever I sampled my random process x of t at t equal to t1, we get two sample values. One is x1, another one is x2, and this x is called as random variable. So from here you can say that this particular x is considering values of x1 and x2, or in general I can say that whenever a random process x of t is sampled, we will get a random variable x at each time instance, and this x will be distributed from some x min to x max, which means this random variable will be taking values from some x min to x max. So let me again reframe all these points, that whenever x of t is sampled, then at any instance this x will represent a random variable, and this small x will represent the values taken by the random variable. Now I can assume that my x is distributed between its maximum and minimum value. So it is distributed between x min to x max, and the maximum value contained by this random variable is x max, and the minimum value is contained by x min. So this is the scenario of the sampling of a random process. So let me again put this diagram. So this was your sampler, and this was my quantizer. And it has the threshold levels as discussed earlier. So if I will apply this stationary random process, then this sampler at any instance will generate a random variable. And we know that this random variable is distributed between its minimum and maximum value, or we can say that this random variable is distributed between xmin to xmax, or this random variable has values from xmin to xmax, or we can also say that this random variable has dynamic range, which can be represented by xmin to xmax. So it represents the dynamic range of random variable at the input of quantizer. So this is the dynamic range. Now what this quantizer will do, it will scan the dynamic range of the incoming signal, and based upon the threshold levels, it will divide the incoming signal into different regions, and each region as a whole will be mapped onto a single discrete value. So let me call the output of the quantizer as x cap. So I can call it as q of x. Now from here you can say that if x is a random variable, then the function of x, which is q of x, will also be a random variable. And if I have to define a term known as quantization error, so if I have to define this quantization error or quantization noise, so I will define this as quantization error equal to the incoming random variable minus quantized random variable, or I will define it as x minus x cap. Sometimes you can also call it as x minus qx. So this quantization error will also be a random variable because it is the difference of two random variables. Now let us try to analyze this quantizer separately. So this is the quantizer. A quantizer is defined with respect to its decision thresholds. This decision threshold divides the incoming dynamic range into different regions, and each region as a whole is mapped onto a single value. Now the input to the quantizer is x, which is distributed between xmin to xmax. So let me draw this complete bracket here. So this is the input signal which is distributed between xmin to xmax. This is the quantizer, and this is the output of the quantizer, which is q of x. Now we know that the dynamic range of the quantizer is from m1 to ml plus 1, which means quantizer will not allow any signal which is beyond this region. So for simplicity, I can assume that this m1 is always equal to xmin, which means the minimum value of incoming random variable matches with lower bound of dynamic range of quantizer and let me consider this ml plus 1 as x max, which means maximum value of incoming random variable matches with upper bound of dynamic range of quantizer. So let me draw the vertical diagram of this quantizer. So now in this case, again the dynamic range of the quantizer starts from m1 and ends at ml plus 1. Now we can say that if the incoming signal is a random variable which is distributed between some x min to x max, so this m1 should match with our x min and this ml plus 1 should match our x max, so that complete signal at the input can be quantized by this quantizer. So whenever we will match this x max with ml plus 1 and x min with m1, so the random variable which is taking the values from x min to x max can be completely quantized by this quantizer. So this is the quantizer and it is taking the input as the random variable which is varying from x min to x max. This x min matches the lower bound of the quantizer and this x max matches the upper bound of the quantizer, so that this complete random variable or the values taken by this complete random variable can be quantized. And we can also say that in this case this random variable can be completely quantized by this quantizer. Now the decision threshold will divide the dynamic range of the quantizer into different regions. So let me define it as M3. Somewhere in between will be Mi. We call this as Mi plus 1. This will be Ml. So it will divide it into different regions. We call these regions as R1, R2. I will call this region as Ri and this region as Rn. Let us assume the width of each region is as delta 1. We call it as delta 2. This is delta I and this is delta L. Now this quantizer will scan each region. So whenever it will scan this region, it will map the values occurring in this region onto a single value, and I am defining this value as x1 cap. Similarly, it will scan this region and it will map this region as a whole onto a single discrete value. Let me call it as x2 cap. Similarly, it will scan this region. It will map onto a single discrete value. Let me call it as xi cap. And similarly, it will also map this value onto a single discrete value, which is known as xl cap. And in this case, we can say that this quantizer is generating L discrete outputs at its output, or we can say that it is nothing but L level quantizer. So what this quantizer basically did, it maps the values of random variable x, and this x has values from x min to x max into L discrete values. So it mapped these infinite number of values from xmin to xmax into L discrete values. Or you can also say that whenever x was lying between m1 to m2, this x cap was exactly equal to x1 cap. Similarly, when this x was lying between m2 to m3, this x cap was exactly equal to x2 cap. Or you can say that when this x was lying between mi to mi plus 1, the output of the quantizer was exactly equal to xi cap. So this you can call it as input of quantizer, and this you can call it as output of quantizer. Similarly, if the input signal was lying between ml to ml plus 1, the output of the quantizer was xl cap. So this is the basic mapping which is being performed here. So you can observe from here that if I will make two sets, this is at the input of quantizer where random variable x is present, which can take values from xmin to xmax, and this is the output of quantizer, and let me call it as q of x. So whenever the input is lying between anywhere between m1 to m2, so it is lying anywhere between m1 to m2, this complete continuous value is being mapped onto a single value which is known as x1 cap. Similarly, when input is changing from mi to mi plus 1, this complete continuous range of values is being mapped to xi cap. So from here you can see that a continuous range of values from m1 to m2 is being mapped onto a single value. So the nature of the mapping is many to one mapping. Whenever anywhere many to one mapping is being performed, then those systems or those functions are called as non-invertible functions. So the function which are q of x is a non-invertible function, because we cannot comment on the nature of the input signal by seeing the output. Suppose if we have observed the output as x1 cap, then we cannot say that this x1 cap has been observed by which of the input. It might have been observed by infinite number of inputs which is present here. So if we want to see or we want to judge the input from the output, it cannot be performed in this case, because this x1 cap would have been come from any value which is existing between m1 to m2, or indirectly we can say that this quantizer function is a non-invertible function. It maps a number of values onto a single value, and by observing that single value we cannot predict about the input value. So this is the non-invertible function. Now let us try to link up two different things. First one is, you are saying that the incoming random variable is distributed between xmin to xmax. It is being applied to a quantizer, and this quantizer has threshold lambda. So what you did, you observed the dynamic range of the quantizer, which is from mi to ml plus 1, and you have divided it into different regions, and add each region as a whole is being mapped onto a single value. So this is mi plus 1, m1, m2, m3, and this was the input. Similarly, for each input value to be quantized, this m1 must be xmin, and this ml plus 1 must be x max, which means these two values should be the upper bound and lower bound, so that this random variable can be completely quantized, or the values taken by the random variable can be completely quantized. So from here you can say that this will be the region R1, this will be the region R2, this will be the region Ri, and this will be the region Rn. Similarly, mapping also you can perform, and the size of this region is delta 1, this region is delta 2, this is delta I, this is delta L. This might all be the same, so we will call it as uniform quantization. If it all is different or all are not same, then we will call it as non-uniform quantization. Now on the other hand, you are also saying that x is distributed between x min to x max, or we can say that x is a random variable which will have PDF which will be distributed between x min to x max. So we do not know the exact distribution, so we will take any general distribution. So suppose this is the PDF of the random variable x. So this is x, and it is distributed between x min to x max. So let me consider any random PDF, and it is distributed between here x min to x max. Now if you will try to observe the horizontal axis of the PDF and this vertical diagram, both will be exactly same. So whether you will try to observe this vertical diagram or the horizontal axis of PDF of x, both will have similar variations. For example, I can call this x min as m1 and this x max as ml plus 1. This is the values from x min to x max, or I can call it as the dynamic range at the input of the quantizer. Now this dynamic range will be divided into different regions by the decision thresholds. So this value will become m3. Somewhere here I will have mi, it will be mi plus 1, and finally it will be ml. So these are the different threshold values which can exist from x min to x max. Now if I want to consider, then I can call this region as R1, this region as R2, because the complete dynamic range at the input of the quantizer is shown here from m1 to ml plus 1, and the region can be defined as R1, R2, Ri. This region can be called as RL. We also know that the width of each region can be written as delta 1, delta 2, delta I, and finally delta L. So all the calculations or all the parameters which you were calculating from the vertical diagram can also be calculated from the horizontal axis of the PDF of the x. Now at any point, if I divide these regions, then this particular region will have area as AI. So I can call it as AI. This will represent the area of this particular region. And if I have to represent the area of this region, I will call it as R2. And if A2. And if I have to represent the area of this region, I will call it as A1, and so on. So this is the idea behind the quantization. You should notice that the vertical diagram at the input of the quantizer matches with the horizontal axis of the PDF of the random variable. So both these diagrams or both these particular variations which can occur in vertical diagram can also occur at the horizontal axis of the PDF of the x, because the dynamic range at the input of the quantizer, which is from M1 to ML plus 1 or Xmin to Xmax, has been exactly the same, which is at the horizontal axis of the PDF. So in the next class, we will understand how to calculate the quantization error or the quantization noise power. Thank you.
So hopefully we have understood every concept in this class. If you have any doubt in any concept, you can let me know in the comment section. I'll try to resolve that thing. Apart from that, you can also follow me on various social media platforms. For example, you can join this Telegram group where you will be getting important notification, important updates. This is Telegram group where you can also comment, you can ask your queries, or maybe you can also suggest me for the improvement. Apart from that, this is my Unacademy profile. On this Unacademy profile, you should also follow me so that you can get the important updates of the Unacademy also, right? And this is the Notion page. You just have to type this tiny.cc/VishalGate. So you will be redirected to a page where all the special classes are arranged very systematically. तो मैंने बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स पे स्पेशल क्लास ले रखी है. फॉर एग्जांपल नाइक्विस्ट, फूरियर सीरीज, latches and flip flop, double integrations, okay, lot of things are there. So you will be getting all these concepts absolutely free of cost. You just have to type this in your URL. You will be redirected to that page and attend these lectures one by one. You will be getting a next level confidence in these topics that I can guarantee you. Now this is the Notion page of your YouTube, on which you will be getting the links of the YouTube. Apart from that, you will be also getting the PDFs of that particular lecture. So this is very important for you, and just you have to type http://bit.ly/GateLive. So GateLive, you just have to type it in the capital so that you can access all the lectures link and PDF arranged systematically. So if you want to attend or you want to clear the examination with the free resource, then this is the channel for you. This is the best recorded videos which has been ever made. You just have to go to that lecture, just click the link and download the PDF and start studying systematically. So we have also done this for you so that any student, whether he is sitting any part of this country, should not face the difficulty in cracking the examination, whether he can afford or he cannot. Now if you can afford, then the subscription prices are not something which you cannot pay. It is very nominal amount which you can pay, and you can just avoid all the distractions, all the time wastage which we will be doing in downloading those PDFs, arranging for the test series, and a lot of other things that you have to arrange, doubt solvings you have to arrange by yourself. If you want to avoid all those distractions in a very nominal amount, so you can go for the Unacademy Plus subscription. For 12-month subscription, you have to pay only 74 rupees per day. Apart from that, for 18-month subscription, which is the best possible subscription, you have to pay 63 rupees per day. It is even lesser than the pizzas that you order on your home. So it is that much of amount that can shape your career, that can give you the best possible rank in the examinations under the guidance of the best teachers of the country, which has been right now placed on the Unacademy. Now 24-month subscription will cost you 54 rupees per day. So these subscription amounts will give you the subscription for the desired period. Apart from that, if you are using this code, you just have to remember this code, write my name, write GATE after it. You can also write ESC after it. So you have to write my name and write ESC after it. So any one of these code, once you apply, you will be immediately getting the 10% discount. You will be getting all the features of the Unacademy. You will be getting the guidance of all the teachers present on Unacademy, and everything you will be getting that is needed to crack the examination once you are using this code. So if you think we are working hard, we are giving our best content, we are giving the free content absolutely for you guys, and everything that is needed for every student to crack the examination. So never forget to use this code whenever you are taking the subscription. So this code is very important and you have to use every time you are taking the subscription. Now those who are interested for the prices, total price amount, so let me tell you, total price is 27,225 for 12 months, 34,650 for 18, and for 24 months it is 39,600. You can also pay this by using zero cost EMI. Zero cost EMI can be paid by credit card and debit card. In debit cards, there are only Bajaj and HDFC as of now available. Okay, so the zero cost EMI means you do not have to pay anything extra. Any interest is not, you should not pay, and you have to pay this much of amount on the daily basis if you are looking for the zero cost EMI option. Apart from that, if you are coming for Iconic subscription, so Iconic mein, I have already told you that your personal coach will be the game changer. He will be succeed. He will be basically following you to give you the guidance so that you can get the success in a very short span of time. So he will be following you, he will be pushing you every time. Now once you use this coupon code, this will be costing you around 45,225, and if you are using this coupon code, write my name, date after it, you will be getting the 24-month subscription of Iconic in 66,600 rupees. Fine. Apart from that, every one of you should follow this GATE aspirant group, and there also some important notification always comes. Now what are the YouTube channels that you should immediately subscribe? This Creatrix, this is the channel on which you are present. This is Unacademy GATE questions, where previous year questions has been solved by the educators. So you'll be getting all the previous year questions video solution apart from the PDF also. This is the Electrical Junction channel, where you will be getting the important concepts of EC and electrical. And this is Engineering Pathshala, where you will be getting some practical aspect of the videos, some animated videos that will enhance your ability to think. So these are the channels which you should immediately subscribe so that you can get a better content. Fine. Now these are my some YouTube videos which I have created for you. In all of these videos will give you some motivation, guidance, content, and some strategy. So these are hand-picked videos. You can immediately follow these videos. Okay. So thank you so much. And those who are coming on this channel, immediately share all the content which is present on this channel. We are working very hard for you guys. So this is your responsibility that you should share this channel. You should subscribe this channel. Also share the link of this channel, link of the videos, link of the educator whom you follow, so that every student who is needy, they can come onto this channel and they can get the best possible rank. So all the best everyone. Let's crack it.